Good evening, and welcome to this Weatherfans special here on Wednesday, the 3rd of January 24, our first one of the new year. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, been a lot going on recently, especially around the Midlands and the South. So we thought we'd bring you what the latest is, and maybe a little tease.
Yeah, there's just too much going on at the minute for us not to do an impromptu live. We thought about it. We did say on the live for New Year, saying we'll be back. We won't be back until unless something significant. And we just feel after what's been going on the last few days, we just need to give an update with the latest flooding and a possible. Okay, it's not possible. We are going to see a pattern change towards the end of this week into next, which we'll take a look at shortly.
Indeed. So I think we should go on to the remnants. Well, what Storm Henk has brought you guys down in the south, down in the Midlands and south.
There's plenty of flood warnings out. So let's bring that onto the screen here. And just refresh the page. Just bear with me a second. So currently we've got 262 flood warnings and 298 flood alerts. So if my maths is correct, that is 555 flood warnings. Sorry, 570.
Yep,
570 flood warnings across the country. So let's take a look from above. And there's all your flood warnings. This is for England, for Wales and Scotland. There is another website which I haven't got to hand at this moment in time.
One for Wales is obviously in Welsh and Scotland and stuff. But you can actually take off flood alerts and see where all the main flood warnings are here and stuff like that. So
severe flood warnings. I don't think there isn't
no.
So the main flood warnings
was earlier, but they've passed. There was one on the 7. No, sorry, there was one on the Nene, the Great Ouse in Cambridgeshire. There was another one, I think, on the 7. But they've expired, so the worst of that's passed.
You can actually see all those flood warnings actually along the River Severn.
You can see the Avon and the Severn and the Wye as well. And then you've got the Trent up there up towards Derby. So you can see where the main rivers are.
I was going to say, in time, you'll end up seeing, like you see, you see it forward the line of the Trent as well. Even where I am in Tamworth as well, we've had we've had significant flooding. Where I'll show you some of the flooding around our neck of the woods. Tamworth Gorge was just 9 centimetres off the highest recorded recorded flood measurement. So if I zoom in there, you can see it literally fall the Trent. I'm more surprised in a few days' time.
Yeah, it's starting to like show up on the Dearne around Doncaster as it meets the Trent. Then you've got
the
ooze. So you've got the ooze and possibly the air as well. There was more towards Leeds, and like if you put the flood alerts on, I think there was some flood alerts around Leeds and that area. Yeah, they're mostly expired now, but there's quite a few along the air and the ooze. There's not. I don't think there's one on the wharf, but like you can see the reds there. That's the ooze that's coming down from York into the Humber estuary. Then you've got the Trent, which is there. So that goes up towards it goes just west of Lincoln. But yeah, goes all the way back there, back into the.
And you've got the tributaries coming from Leicester as well, which would then join the Trent.
Yeah, I'm not sure what river that is off the top of my head. Obviously, you find out. The Saw.
Yeah, the Saw. Saw, is that you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's the Saw, yeah. Then you've got the one coming out of Stafford-the-Trent. Is it the Trent that comes out of Stafford or is it So? River So. And then you got the Trent up at Rugeley.
Yeah. And my neck of the woods here at Tamworth as well, we've got the River Anchor. But the thing is, where we are in Tamworth, I have to zoom in. We've actually got two rivers that flow into the town here. You've got this coming up from Birmingham, and we've got this one. Just zoom in so you can see where they meet up.
So you got like a convergence of the Anchor and the Tame.
Yeah, you can actually see where the red is here. There's been a bit of flooding along this road, actually. Even the buses got stuck along this road, which takes you up into Hopworth there. So yeah, you've got this river here, which the River Tame, which comes from like the Birmingham direction, and you've got the River Anchor, which in our neck of the woods comes from like the Nuneaton. So you've got those two conversions into one, and some of the pictures
goes often in towards Walsall and out towards Stour,
Kingsbury as well. Heads back into Birmingham if you heads up towards more around the Dudley area, then flows up through this area here. Where am I? I've got lost where I am now.
You're around Lichfield at the moment, around Lichvegas.
Yes.
So you've probably got the Tame going around there as well. The Anchor.
So we've got significant flooding around there. Let's just zoom out a bit more to show you more of these flood warnings. Even some down towards the south as well. And what you're seeing is there's about 570 flood alerts across flood warning and alerts. If I put that on top as well, zoom out, it's just
crazy. I don't think we've seen that many warnings for quite a while.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some of the flooding which has been affected. If you want to share your flood pictures as well on the Weatherfans page, then feel free to do so. These are ones which Drone Works. I'm not sure if they're based in Tamworth, but these were only posted about an hour and a half ago to like our community area, showing the flooding actually around the area. Just flick through some of these. So unfortunately, someone's actually got the car stuck in the flood there. And that's the same car. So this road actually leads up into the village of Shuttington. And obviously red light to stop, unfortunately. Not stopped in the right place, really. This here is just on the outskirts of Tamworth. This here unfortunately, like some businesses and homes have been affected by the flooding. This is actually a pub here known as the Pretty Pigs. This is your West Coast Main Line, which runs between Nuneaton and Tamworth up to Stafford. And this is some of the flooding in the area. And the river is actually supposed to be along this bit here. And I know what some of you are thinking there. They're not building houses there, are they? Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, no, they're not, would say the government.
So, yeah, as you can see, the river has burst its banks quite severely.
Yeah, Thomas has just posted on the comments that Nottingham's getting a lot of flooding as well.
Yeah, it's part from the Trent. If we'll go back, I'll go back to the flood thing. If you follow that, all that water is heading towards, I believe it's going to be Nottingham after Burton.
Yeah, that'll be next on the Trent. I think it's reached Derby and kind of Nottingham at the moment.
Yeah, so all that flood water, this is Hopwas. Paul knows this transmitter just here at Hopwas.
Yep, we're on about that in the green room.
Yeah, and this is going a bit further back towards Tamworth Town Centre, and people from the council decide, let's build some more houses. Yeah, let's build it on the floodplain.
Right next to the river.
Yeah, so they built all these houses in the last last 1 to 3 years. I think they might be still building on there.
I was going to say the developers will say that's a wonderful riverside view. That's what they'd say. Take our money. Anyway, I'm going to stop.
Speaking of that, they've actually built, I don't know if you can see what the arrow is, they've actually built these like little houses here that they've actually been built through 2023. So thankfully they've got this embankment here.
Yeah.
Yes, this is actually Tamworth itself. You see one of the shots closer, you got the castle just there. And what you're seeing here is on this right-hand side, this is the River Tyne coming from towards Birmingham. All that, as you can imagine, is all flooded. And you can't quite see it, but we've got the River Anchor, which joins forces here. So the two rivers actually join up just behind this bridge here. And there's the famous Tamworth Castle there. There's actually supposed to be a weir here, but you can't really see it at all.
No.
This is the River Anchor, which comes from the Nuneaton Way. That's actually getting close to just about getting underneath this bridge here. And there's behind these trees here, you've got a bit of a wall here, which protects this bit of grassland here, and even that has to come through that wall there. So let's go head back. Just trying to think what I'm looking at right now.
It's Tamworth Town Centre. She's got the flats to the left. Castle.
Yeah, so there's the castle there. Tamworth Town Centre is just here. So this is the river that comes from Birmingham. You can actually see right back, actually. All that heading towards, follow that right back, Kingsbury, then the northeast of Birmingham. And you can actually see, if you follow this back, you can actually see the flooding as well in the fields, in the far distance as well, right back there.
Yeah, that'll be heading off towards Lichfield Way, won't it? Or towards Nuneaton, maybe?
Yeah, towards Nuneaton Way. So you've got the villages of like Shottington, Polesworth, and that will lead up into, further back, head back to Nuneaton, but the river levels, I believe, have dropped from there. So you can see in the distance, really, it's just all flood water.
Crazy.
And unfortunately, there's no image of that pub there, which is unfortunately underwater. And the company I work for, we actually delivered to that location there. So unfortunately, won't be getting any carvings from there for a little while. And you can just see the West Coast Main Line there, just at the bottom of the screen, and the extent of this flooding. See this road completely underwater, so no way will that be passable for at least a few days. But river levels are starting to drop, and You can see the extent of the flooding yet again.
Yeah.
And this actually, these houses here is where I'm live from right now. But looking up, I'm actually a bit, as Paul is aware, I'm actually on a bit of a hill where I am.
Yeah,
Another house actually on our estate have not been affected.
No, luckily they're on a little bit of a hill up, so
yeah,
they're actually all right there. Yeah. What?
I think you can actually see that just about seeing the distance actually where we was looking a short time ago. You can see a bit of flood water just there. That's where I was looking where they've said to build those new houses.
Yeah.
And there's that transmitter was mentioned at Hopwas as well.
Yeah. Just it dumped up a lot of rain.
Yeah, and this here is actually Hopwas Woods.
Mm-hmm.
I think that covered the last of it, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Storm Hank dropped a heck of a lot of rain across the Midlands, and as you can basically see where them where the flood warnings are, the red ones.
Just take much flood alerts off.
Yeah.
So there's your flood alerts. Sorry, your flood warnings is on the screen right now.
That's kind of roughly where Hank, the heaviest of the rain went in that track across. I think it went across and kind of up to the northeast as it crossed over yesterday. There was a little bit of a discrepancy. They weren't sure if it was going to go more further north or further south.
The Met Office did actually name it very late. They've actually named it on yesterday morning. Even they said that delivered the latest run. They actually had to update the warnings.
Yeah, because they just weren't sure where Henk was going to go. If it was like going to go up across the north.
There is another system coming through tonight for mostly for southeastern areas. Is expecting like a little system coming through here, but again, at this stage, they don't know how it's going to interact with the jet stream of how much rain will fall. It could be just skimming the south coast, or it could be up through like East Anglia, maybe parts of the Midlands. So there's something
how much it spins up overnight, isn't it? But yeah, that's one to watch as well during tomorrow, or during tonight and tomorrow.
Actually,
I was going to say,
what I'll do actually, let me get the facts chart up actually, and we'll show you what we're talking about. So if I bring that up onto the screen right now, so this. Just double check how much on the screen. I'll just have a look at the comments actually before.
You're on.
Oh, good evening, Michael and Paul from Thomas. Do you know what? I've just realised something here. I haven't put any banners up, have I?
I haven't put any what up, sorry?
I put the banner up across the bottom.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Your facts chart's up.
Yeah. Just have a look at the other comments. And, Nottingham has always been bad for my area, constantly flooding at the moment. Actually, I did say I was going to have a look at that very, very quickly. Just quickly share that tab.
Okay. Yeah, there's Nottingham.
So these are the rivers that are flowing from here. I think that's the last of the flood warning coming from Birmingham before they head up towards us. So I think the river levels have started to decrease. I think we've peaked here. Then you can see this river follow up to Burton-on-Trent, just to south of Derby through Nottingham. So you can see all these lines.
Yep. So
I'm guessing Thomas might be familiar with all these areas where I'm clicking into. So all that flood water you're seeing there is unfortunately heading your way.
And you've got all that coming from the Soar as well. Down into Melton Mowbray. That'll all then just get chucked into the Humber estuary eventually. I would imagine tomorrow, as that flood water makes its way down the Trent, places in like South Yorkshire to the east of Doncaster, along them floodplains there will get affected. There's one place that always gets affected as well, isn't there? It's like always getting affected.
I'm not sure from that neck of the woods.
It's just to the east of Doncaster. I can't remember. can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's always on news up north anyway. So if you're from that neck of the woods, you'll probably see it tomorrow.
And just to give you an idea, the normal range of the river level here at Tamworth is between 0.86 meters to 1.30 meters, and our river actually peaked at 2.65 meters. It's now actually dropped to 2.54. So, talking a good meter and a half higher than what it should be at this moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
I said all that's still got to come through to Nottingham, so I reckon it's going to be, with all that flood water, it was already peaked here, it's going to be at least another 24 to 48 hours for, I think, some of these warnings.
Yeah.
Probably another 24 hours before some of these warnings will start to come down. But then, probably. So where's the River Trent come out of, actually?
It comes out up near Scunny. So that's the Trent there that you can see just to the west of Scunthorpe. That's the Trent.
So that is the Trent, yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Because you've come back down.
Yeah, it is. There's the River Trent there.
So that comes down towards in between Doncaster and Scunthorpe.
So our friend at Scunthorpe, what's his name now?
Is it Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes down towards Gainsborough and Lincoln. Well, I don't go through Lincoln because Lincoln's up on an hill, but you've got them two there just to the north of Doncaster are probably on the Dearn. Let's have a look. The Don. Sorry, the Don. No, the Dearn flows into the Don, if I remember rightly, in Barnsley, but then you've got the ones up there on the possibly on the
especially with this river here, it's gonna maybe some more flood warnings will
as it moves further down. Retford, just Peterborough as well with the Great Neen. Is it Great Neen or whatever it is? The Great Ouse. I get them confused, the Neen and the Ouse, the Little Ouse, the Big Ouse.
Give us a Big Ouse.
Yeah, it probably is the Great Ouse, to be fair. But they then flow into the Wash, I think. On a geography lesson, guys. Bear with us. While I'm eating my tea.
So definitely major rivers are getting a bit of a
hammering,
as well as your little ones that flow into the main rivers of the Trent and the River Severn.
They're obviously going to back up because there's all that rainwater in the main rivers. So, yeah.
But there's a change on the way. But we'll come back to that in just a moment.
We will. You was doing the facts charts. There we go.
Yep. So the facts chart. So this is a little low just there. That's just giving us a few showers which we've seen during the day, and it's as we head into tomorrow, which is causing the meteorologists some headaches. Is this feature here? Is how it interacts with the jet stream. So maybe some yellow warnings could be out in force unless they're already out down for the southeast. They're just not sure how far north or south this system will go. But what is definitely happening, this will clear through, and we're beginning to see at least first signs of a pattern change.
Yeah, that kind of shows it there with the high pressure moving up from the Azores.
We've got these troughs here, so we could expect some showers through Friday. Mm-hmm. Then you have this weather front struggled across the UK, but what you're starting to see is a little I have high pressure towards the northeast, I have high pressure towards the southwest, and what that is going to do in the next few days as we move this forward is they're going to start to join forces, and it's going to squeeze the life out of this, and pressure will start to rise.
Yep.
And as we head into Sunday, we begin to see signs of area of high pressure starts to develop across the UK, and these weather fronts could bring a few showers perhaps down
bit of a dangler.
I think it's not quite a dangler. There's a bit of just like a little trough there, just been squeezed out by these two areas of high pressure.
Yeah, it might just enhance a few showers along there. That front along the east coast as well might bring a bit of cloud and spotty rain, maybe. Who knows? Maybe
Yes.
even a little bit of the white stuff. We'll see.
So one thing I'd like to show you now, before I've gone blank then. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the 6 o'clock run because the 12Z run from today is quite interesting. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the 850A HPA and sea level pressure. So the 850 HPA is a height where the temperature does not get influenced by land or sea. So we can see what the air is like aloft. So under the minute, we're under relatively warm, milder conditions. There's the air of low pressure there. Cold air is tucked up in towards Scandi. And let's bring this forward. There's that little area of low pressure, which is causing a few headaches about tomorrow's weather. And what we start to see as we're heading to the start of next week is that area of high pressure starts to build up towards the northeast. And this is allowing much cooler air to come across the UK. And that area of high pressure really just sits around through next week.
Yep.
And it's the case of how much sunshine you'll see that will determine if you'll see any frost or fog. With all the grounds very saturated, there's a possibility there could be quite a lot of fog around, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would imagine some dense fog under a high pressure like that. 1032, 36 millibars. Quite strong, so there's no air moving about.
Nothing to mix the air, is there?
Yeah, so any cloud that does form will probably go into low cloud and fog, and then we'll get freezing fog patches. Especially with a scenario like that, with the wind coming in off the North Sea, I would imagine eastern areas, Midlands, down into the south, possibly might see some freezing fog.
Yes.
Under that, in the morning, like Michael said, it all depends on how much sunshine, and the sun's not very strong at this time of the year.
Oh no,
So
it's about as weak as it would be, really.
I was going to say it's about as weak as it would be in November, or December, because this is like obviously the winter equinox has just passed. So yeah, the sun's quite low, so it hasn't got much power to it at the present time.
No, not at all. With the weather, as we all know, we've had weather system after weather system. And what we start to see from about this weekend, we start to see the high pressure building.
Yep.
And as we go through next week, high pressure is expected to stay across the whole, more or less the whole UK road through all of next week. So we're going to see like a dry, literally definitely like a dry trend. All these flood warnings will just start to dissipate, and there shouldn't be any by this time next week at all.
No, we'll probably get ice and fog warnings. That's about it. But if you look to the north,
so we're looking at the 6 o'clock run first because the 12's more interesting. There are signs, obviously nothing's set in stone because we're still about 8-9 days away. A hint of just a bit of a colder blast there. Bit of a northerly plunge there just to the east of us. We'll tap into a bit of cold air for a time. High pressure is still set across the UK. Then there's like a little system trying to come up from the southwest there. If that interacts with the cold air, we could see a spell of snow for a time. And that takes us into that run. So you can see around about Friday, Saturday the 13th, there's that cold plunge, then quickly scoots off.
Yep.
However,
and then it just reverts back to default, which is generally what the GFS does anyway, doesn't it?
No, definitely. This is the latest run from 12 o'clock this afternoon. The pub run isn't due up for about another 2 or 3 hours. So it's the latest from the GFS. So again, as we're heading into this weekend, we see of high pressure building. And there's a bit of colder share, then gets a bit mixed up a bit. Then what this does, keeps high pressure around the UK. Then that high pressure starts to slip towards the west up to Greenland. Then what that allows us to do, you can see that cold plunge coming right across the UK. And that keeps that cold air sat in place. And then that area of high pressure sinks back down again across the UK.
Yep.
Then it's not until we get to the latter part of next week, then something a little bit less cold, but not.
Like I say, it's just
not that
returning.
it tries to move up from the southwest, but that seems to have delayed it completely. So if we go reverting through to the latest run of the GFS,
which is what you're on.
Yep.
Temps.
This is the latest run of good temperatures. So let's have a look at the temperatures right now. So today's been around about 7, 8, 9 degrees, 10, 11 across the south. And as we're heading tomorrow, we're probably down to about 7, 8 degrees. And Friday, around about the same, 7, 8 degrees. Then as high pressure starts to build across the UK, temperatures starting to drop. So temperature around 5 degrees there on Saturday. And as we head into Sunday, temperatures still dropping to perhaps highs of 2, 3, 4s there. Then on Monday, still temperatures are still dropping by a degree or 2. And what you see during the night time, there's increased possibility of frost. Again, as we mentioned, it all depends on cloud amounts. If we get any frost or fog, then into next week, temperatures are barely above freezing, maybe 2s and 3s across the board. 2s and 3s. Then it's just when we get that further cold plunge. You begin to see that appear actually onto the top of the screen. There's a bit of a milder sector there.
Yeah.
Right into Saturday the 13th, you see much cold air starts to sink southwards. So Sunday there, we're barely above freezing across much of the UK. And same again for Monday the 15th with that cold air in place. It's more like to be a nice day across the whole of the UK. You can get to see into nearby continents how cold it's getting there. There's a few -11s there through the night across parts of France there. And even Tuesday the 16th there, we're not even getting above freezing for much of the UK. Again, look at nearby Europe. Some of these temperatures are like struggling to get above -6 actually.
You got to think that's low resolution as well. So if it was like nearer the
just shows you how cold that air is at. Possibly not a guaranteed cert, but
not that far out. But blooming heck.
Let's put the lowest temperature on because I can see like a minus. Is that 15? I can see there.
Well, minimum.
About the same. Even the temperatures across the UK.
I can look across the North York moors, looking at -7, -8 maybe.
Yeah.
Not far away from where I am. But
then right at the end of this run, they're just trying to turn things less cold, not milder, but less cold. But
default. There's definitely hints of colder weather to come with that latest run, and obviously with the 06. It's now, obviously, will it keep progressing? Will it keep, reproducing that or variants? Go on.
Sorry, as we know, sometimes when this cold air gets established across the UK, it can be quite stubborn to clear, and computer models do struggle with this at times where everything will sweep away straight away. Sometimes it can be stubborn to clear, and it could keep the mild air coming in, backing off day by day.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at on this model run. Let's have a look at the precipitation type. So there could be 1 or 2 wintry showers around, maybe probably say over high ground there. maybe across the Pennines there into the early hours of Sunday.
Yeah.
And I say this is showing perhaps some snow, wintry shower. Showers coming off the North Sea there. May be wintry if the ground, the air is cold enough. Then it stays quiet through this part of next week. So we've got a few showers coming into the east coast there. Looks like it's showing just mainly of rain. Then it's when we go down to Saturday the 13th, see this cold plunge coming down. That to me is showing like weather front moving down from the north. That could give a spell of some winteriness into lower levels.
Yep.
So rain or sleet. And as that cold air gets established, we see all these snow showers affecting the east coast. So you could be in for a good cover in there, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Some of these
move as the wind goes more northeasterly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That then brings the showers more inland. So like the northeast, Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, the Midlands.
Even towards the southeast here as well. There's like this feature coming down there.
Yeah, because you usually get like streamers when it comes in from the northeast or east.
Yeah. Normally if the wind comes from that in the right direction, you can usually get one that comes through the London area. We get this little streamer.
You get a Thames streamer, then you got a Kent Clipper. Then it's northeast one, the one through the central belt.
Can't forget the northerly wind of the Pembrokeshire Dangler.
Dangler. Yeah, the infamous Pembrokeshire Dangler. If it comes from the north, might even get a hint of that on like Saturday, Sunday, something like that.
Yeah, let's have a look at the Pacific. Let's have a look at the experimental snow depth actually on this run. So obviously we've got the snow set across the Scottish Mountains, which is nothing unusual. So let's have a look over this weekend. See if the showers turn wintry.
Yeah. Freezing levels down to 200 meters.
And I bet once we get this colder plunge through Saturday, Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th, that will completely drop. So there's a bit of warmer air coming through. Then beyond that, you can see those lines decreasing as that cold air starts sinking south, and we start to see more snow coming across highlands. Then will any of this go to lower levels once these snow showers kick in? There's a few there coming across the northeast there.
Around Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, them areas. And then they're obviously moving as that wind digs in towards Leeds, Doncaster, Barnsley, places like that in the conurbations of Yorkshire, and possibly even over.
I'm sorry, I'm beginning to notice a little bit down the southeast there as well.
Yeah, you got some of the North York moors, the high Pennines as well.
Seeing the accumulations there potentially.
Yeah, I was going to say that's on the North Pennines. That is just to the west of Durham. Them areas going up towards Scotland. They're the highest peaks of the Pennines. To be fair, the Pennines go all the way from the Peak District, don't they? They go from the Midlands up and then up into Scotland and the Cairngorms.
So that's right at the end of this run. I'm seeing a little bit there towards like East Anglia down the southeast and the usual spots really across the high ground of Scotland, Northern England into North Wales as well.
Yeah.
So that's something we're going to definitely keep an eye on closely. So
I was going to say the Met Office have got good confidence in this. If people have watched the deep dive and the 10-day trend today as well, there's a heck of a lot of good confidence in what's going to happen. And it's very rare that the Met Office have this much confidence in weather.
Yeah. It's all down to the switch in the jet stream. Obviously, we've got the jet stream just to our south at the minute, allowing these low pressures to develop and come across the UK, which we've seen so much of this autumn or winter. But what you start to see now as we head into Sunday, the jet stream is getting pushed towards the far north, and high pressure starts to build. And there's your high pressure being starts to circulate across the UK. It's just going to sit there throughout much of, well, we'll say possibly all through next week. And there's that cold plunge there. And it could be in association with this area of low pressure that develops around Scandi, which would then push all this cold air out from the Arctic. So we need to keep an eye on it, see if it does come off the later runs.
Yep.
And there's the jet stream trying to go back into default.
Yep. So we were looking at something in the green room, weren't we, about shapes of the jet stream and how that's associated with what's going on in the high atmosphere at the moment.
Yes.
So I was looking earlier, I was bored. You know how it is, looking up about things. And I come across an article by the Met Office on what's happening in the high atmosphere at the moment, the sudden stratospheric warming, which could be linked. I'm not saying it is linked. It could be linked to what this pattern shift is going to be. So I will share that with you guys now.
Full screen. There we go.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Thank you. Yep, I see it. So as it says here, this is from the Met Office, as you can see. It says sudden stratospheric warming describes an event when rapid warming occurs high up in the stratosphere. However, it can lead to changes in our weather at the surface. Then it just goes on about the 2009-2010 beast from the east, one in 2013, one in 2018. But why is it called warming if it leads to cold conditions? The term sudden stratospheric warming refers to what is observed in the stratosphere, a rapid warming up to 50 Celsius in a couple of days, which I'll show you in a minute, between the heights of 10 kilometres and 50 kilometres above the Earth's surface. This is so high up that we don't feel the warming ourselves. However, usually a few weeks later, we can see the knock-on effects on our jet stream, which in turn affects our weather lower down in the troposphere. However, sudden stratospheric warming doesn't happen every year and doesn't affect the weather when it does. Now, how does it happen? It's on about the polar vortex, how our strong westerly winds circle around the pole up in the stratosphere. That hasn't really been happening as much this year. It's been more self-shifted with the jet stream. So, as it says there, in some years, the winds around the polar vortex temporarily weaken or even reverse flow from east to west. Cold air then descends very rapidly in the polar vortex, and this causes the temperature in the stratosphere to rise very rapidly. So obviously it's air changing. So as that cold air sinks, warm air is going up into the stratosphere as much as over 50 cents. We've read that anyway. So how does this affect our weather? It says the sudden stratospheric warming can sometimes lead the jet stream to snake more, which is what I was just alluding to. When Michael was showing the jet stream, it was snaking, buckling with that high pressure, which it says there, which then tends to lead to a large area of blocking high pressure, which is what we've got starting to build up over the weekend and next week. Typically, this will form over the North Atlantic and Scandinavia. Where are they happening, Michael? Or are you drinking?
Sorry?
I was saying this says typically this will form over the North Atlantic and Scandinavia. Where is the blocking high pressure happening?
Right above us.
Exactly right, over the North Atlantic and Scandi, which means that Northern Europe, including the UK, is likely to get a long spell of dry, cold weather, whereas Southern Europe will tend to be more mild, wet and windy. On the boundary of these areas, strong easterly winds develop, and in some cases, the drop in temperatures lead to snow, which is what happened in early 2018. Can we predict these in advance? Currently, we have reliable we can reliably predict individual warming events a week in advance, and we can detect them early on with satellite and other observations. And it goes on. Jet streams high up in the atmosphere circumnavigate west to east. One of these, the polar night jet, circles the Arctic. Sometimes the westerly flow can be disrupted by natural weather patterns and disturbances lower in the atmosphere, such as a large block in a large area of high pressure in the northern hemisphere. This causes the polar jet to wobble, and these wobbles or waves break just like waves on the beach. When they break, they can be strong enough to weaken or even reverse the westerly winds and swing them easterly. As this happens, air in the stratosphere starts to collapse in the polar cap and compress, and as it compresses, it warms, hence the stratospheric warming. And then just says, how does it move down? Obviously, it's air trading, so that cold air is getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and that's as that wind moves around, that's causing it to warm up, basically. I'll give this to Michael to put up on the group or something so everyone can have a read of it. So I was going to go here to Weather Central. Let's have a look. Yes, on the screen.
You're on the screen.
So this is right. Sorry about the noise and the people on their quads. So as you can see there is a warming event going on currently. I think this is currently. Just bear with me a minute. Just make sure. Sorry, that's my bad. So there we go. So we've got this warming event going on at the moment. I'm sure if you watch Gav's videos as well, Gav's weather vids on YouTube, he's been going on about this as well. The Met Office have been alluding to it. They haven't been saying it's going on, but yeah. So that's down to round about -5. This is the next layer down. So you've got 1 HPA 10, 30, 50, and then so on and so forth. This is the middle layer, kind of next layer down from 1 HPA. And this is showing -5 over northern Russia in Siberia. And I'll just move that on. So you can see that it's pushing that polar vortex, which is this here. Obviously, that's been south shift, well, more southerly than usual down to the jet stream. You can see there that warming continues, stretches the polar vortex, squeezing it across our north. This will more than likely be the high pressure, which is going to be situated around our neck of the woods. This is on the 7th, so this Sunday coming. So that warming event's still continuing, and it eases off a little bit. Still warm though. And then I believe we get a second warming event starting to occur, as you can see there. -25. That goes up to -20 maybe, -15. So the pressure's still on the polar vortex, but that polar vortex then tries to move back up into the North Pole, and that projects that warming event might get broken up, but that goes over the North America. And then the polar vortex kind of wanders about, and then there's another warming event. So that's a third one. And that might be linked to the other one, but that weakens the polar vortex. It's really, really putting some pressure on it, as you can see. If I just reel it back, you can see it really does put some pressure on it, and nearly gets rid of it all in all. That's on the 17th of January. I'll come further down the atmosphere now to 50 HPA, and that's also showing that warming event. This is further down in the atmosphere, probably around about 10, 15 kilometers, something like that. You can see, obviously, it's like -5 further up, it's around about -30, -25 there. tap it so you guys can see what I can see. I was saying this to Michael in the green room. You'll notice that the polar vortex starts to get squeezed, obviously, doing the same, but it starts giving off lobes off the main polar vortex, off in this direction towards North America, but stays centered over us, so like to our north or northeast. You can see there the polar vortex splits a little and then rejoins. Warming event still going on up on the 15th of January. That lobe across Canada rejoins the polar vortex, so it strengthens it. It's so like it tries to split, but it doesn't. It just keeps like giving off little lobes, and then that lobe rejoins. But it does show warming further down the atmosphere on this one, so it'd be interesting to see if that goes down any further. Obviously, we've looked at the 850 HPA. That's showing even at this time. Where did we say? What, 12 to 13, wasn't it, Michael?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. So, as you can see there, actually, right over Scotland, just to the north, is like perhaps 50 HPA. So, a little further down in the atmosphere. At that time, when that cold plunge comes on the 12Z, you can see it just starting to affect us over the top. So that might even push, as that low pressure scoops that cold air, pushes it down, it could affect us with a northerly. I don't think it's hinting at an easterly at the moment.
It's far too early to say yet.
Yeah, it's really too hard to say. I'm just going by what I can see on here, and it looks to me more kind of it stretches and then comes back in. So it'd be interesting to see what the secondary warming does in a few days' time, and if that splits the vortex, or if it keeps it as is and keeps it just to our north, or if it pushes it over us. Ideally, we could do with it to our north, so then it can undercut it and drag that cold air in, as it was describing on the Met Office. So, yeah, that's some interesting stuff going on in the high atmosphere at the moment. So I'll go a little bit more in depth with it. Let's have a look. I don't think I can go any further. So look at the 2 meter temperatures anyway. I'll give us an idea of what's going on in the lower atmosphere, like down below. So go back. Warm air just stays to the west. Not showing anything significant, like really, really, really cold. But
No.
yeah, just keeps that warm air advection, as the Met Office was saying in the 10-day trend today. Warm air getting scooped up from the mid latitudes reinforces that high. Probably just here.
So maybe if you click into Europe, it might let you see a lot more.
Yeah, if we go to Europe, there we go. There we go. There, that's better. So this is Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
So which model is this? Is the GFS or the ECM?
It is the GFS. Yeah, it's GFS. I can go to ECM if that'd be better, because it's more higher resolution, isn't it?
Yeah, look at the ECM, because we've obviously kind of seen the GFS, and we'll
kind
see
of
if they're
focusing on
the same thing.
Yeah, we were kind of I was kind of focused on that one. So yeah, so these are 2 meter temperatures.
Bring up the 850 maybe, so we can have a look what's happening aloft.
Yeah, sure. So if I go back to the beginning, let's go back to the beginning. So obviously that low pressure gets scooped up.
So there's
Overnight
that little low towards the southeast there.
Yeah, that's going to bring a little bit of trouble, but that soon scoots away. I don't think that'll get named. But then that high pressure across Scandi and across the thing. Let's have a look.
That area of low pressure in the central Atlantic
really
is what's causing the area of high pressure to inflate across the UK. You can see that.
Yeah.
Can't you see where Paul's pointing now? You got that warm air advection straight up there, which then inflates the area of high pressure right across the UK.
I'll say that's them putting pressure on the cold air across the northern, across the Arctic and Greenland, and that then is going to try and squeeze it out, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think more towards the far eastern Europe, I think that will happen. So it's inflating that area of high pressure, which you can see across right over the UK and parts of northern Europe, and that cold air will start coming down towards Far East Europe into Russia.
Yeah, as you can see there, we aren't tapping into a true easterly, like true beast. It's just short, but it's dragging air. It's 15 there across Western Russia, and into like Eastern Europe.
As you can see, even though we're picking up a bit of an easterly, we're not tapping into the very cold air on this situation here. As you can see, we're under like greens and yellows back. The yellows coming back in.
Yeah.
So with that as well, I can see a lot of fog coming in with that, with a bit of inversion.
Yeah. But we've got this northeasterly kicking in a little bit there, but there's warm air aloft. That might cause some snow showers.
It depends what it's like on the surface as well. I think associate with a lot of fog with this, so with the inversion.
Yeah, but there.
So what's this doing? Is that going to bring that cold air down? High pressure.
This is that Friday. So we've got 1,040 millibar high across the north. That then gets squeezed in towards Greenland.
Iceland, yeah.
Yeah, Greenland, Iceland.
I've got a feeling this could be a glancing blow looking at this.
And that's as far as it goes. But yeah, that's just teasing -5 across Scotland and Northern England. But it's tapping in. It is tapping in.
It was just the area of low pressure, which is on the right hand side of the area of high pressure up towards Greenland. It's how that if that moves south.
It's this back here. It goes over the top of the high.
It's the one. It's the one further north.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Because if we go back, this low here that's pushing up against our high gets reinforced, but that high pressure really stays in control. Like 1,040 millibars, so it's quite a strong high pressure. It's very strong, possibly 1,045 there across Scotland. There we go, 1,045 showing up Wednesday. It's pushing them lows over the top of the high. But it's then, like Michael said, when it gets parked over Scandi, we just move it forward a little bit. There you go. See, as it comes across the top of that high, it then pushes the high then over into Greenland.
By the looks of it, as it hits that cold air towards Eastern Europe, it then actually intensifies the air of low pressure.
Yes. So that would make me think the jet would be somewhere going up here, then back down here, and then across. So like Omega High, but like really some big heights over here, 1,045, 1,050. But it's not all that cold over Greenland at the moment. Well, it's showing there anyway.
It's because you've had that warm the warm advection in that area.
Yeah, this is warm air
there's the warm air advection, which is inflating that area of high pressure.
Let's have a look at the GEM before we scoot off.
Yeah.
I'll reel it back to Friday. So move forward, see if the GM it's got kind of the same scenario.
Yeah.
with the high pressure building over us and pushing them lows over the top. But that has warm air over us, so that high pressure's, I don't know. Have a look. So that's at the end, and that's starting to build up low.
So it'll
Excuse
be
me.
interesting to see how in the next few days, if any of these model runs does actually pick up that low pressure over Scandi and drags it south.
I'm just going to have a look at 500 HPA. It's obviously higher up. That's building that low at the end of the run. So that low is building. It's whether it intensifies across here and drags that cold air down on the GM. The ECM was teasing it because obviously 10 days out and then it stops. So it'd be interesting to see tomorrow or at midnight, whenever the next run comes out, if that drags that cold air in, like the GFS does.
Be definitely interesting in the next 24 to 48 hours, see if it starts to really pick up this out of low pressure. That's definitely one to watch. You never know, in the next 24, 48 hours, that low pressure might not exist.
That's the GFS at 10 days. So that's at 500 HPA. So that's dragging really cold air into it. Let's go back down to 850. And then obviously that's bringing -10, just knocking on the door of Scotland, -5, welling across the country. So it could drag that cold air even further.
If that area of low pressure was a bit further west over towards the UK, then obviously we're going to get the full force of that.
It'd be interesting to see what the pub run says.
Oh God, it will turn into an episode of the Daily Express.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing that. There we go. So yeah,
there's a lot to definitely a lot to watch in the next few days. On Sunday, we'll have an update of what's going on.
Yes.
Also on Sunday, we'll have the stats for December and for the year as well.
Yes, the Met have been saying that it's been one of the warmest on record, so it'll be interesting to see what them stats say on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll get all the stats up on the screen on Sunday. And so then we'll have a look at the very latest of what we've been looking at, really.
Yeah.
If that cold plunge is there for, what are we now, day 10?
Yeah, it'll be about day 10 then. It's day 10 now. So it'll be about day 7, day 6, probably say the week after for Sunday. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, for this impromptu live special. And we will see.
It was only I decided probably about 6:30 this evening. Initially.
Yeah. So
as we said on the last live of 23, we did say that we will go live if it needs to be, if anything happens, and we just could not do one. So with all the flooding around, we just had to do one, as well as this pattern change, which we've been waiting for eternity.
Yeah, since
all these areas that's been affected by these floods, the flood risks in the next few days will start to decrease. So just that area towards the southeast there, just keep an eye on that area. People that are down there. Like there could be another spell of rain before it starts to turn much drier. There'll still be a few showers around tomorrow and into the weekend, but nothing like we've had now. And the river levels will start to decrease. They said by the weekend there should be very little warnings. There'll probably just be about maybe a couple of dozen maybe tops.
Yeah, possibly.
So what is it? 580 warnings we've got across the board.
Yeah, 570, 580, something like that. So they'll have gone way down by probably Friday, I would say. Start to come down a bit more.
So it was 570. Let me just refresh the page, see if that's gone down.
Quick maths.
Yes, three have gone. So we're now down to
467.
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
To put this into perspective, just looked underneath. There's 190 flood warnings which have been removed in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, so that's saying it's going down quick. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we'll definitely be back on Sunday night, usual time, 8 o'clock, possibly. And well, like I say, we'll have more on what's going on in the stratosphere and in the long run as well. See what the 14-day and beyond are saying. Right, I think we'll call that a night from there, Michael.
Yeah, a nice and crunchy live.
Indeed, indeed.
And we'll see you on Sunday at 8 p.m.
We will indeed. Take care, guys.
Thanks for watching. It's a good night from him.
And it's a good night from him. And we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.